agenda items for discussion are second reading of our ordinance 2024-05 to name the three fields complexes, Field 1, located inside of J.B. Rhett Owens Recreational Complex in honor of Thomas Greg Powell for his exemplary service of over 30 years to the City of Easley Parks and Recreation as director. Is there any discussion wanted around that? The plan currently, Mr. Powell is bringing his family, and so the plan currently is that Chrisman, our Parks and Rec director, will read the proclamation, and then after our vote tonight, he and his family will be invited forward to make a photo with us, if that's okay with everybody, and then we'll actually have the formal dedication later at the World Series opening game. No discussion? Okay, and then next we'll have the second reading of ordinance 202406 to provide for the adoption of a city annual operating budget, its execution and effect for the fiscal period of July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. And last time we voted, we had the reduced
stormwater fee from $45 to $40 on the amendment, and it passed first reading.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question. On the hospitality tax, it went up like 28.5%. I don't remember, I think it was 2.9 up to 4 million. I did notice on the financial reports that the revenues has exceeded what was budgeted. So explain how you came up with the 4 million.
The estimated revenue is based on, you say for this current year we've exceeded what we expected. So we base it on how the year is running to get a forecast for the next year.
Do you use just like a standard percentage, or how is that?
It was just an estimate,
Okay.
all based on how far above we were at the time we were putting the budget together.
All right, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
So like a quarterly.
Came in. We updated them. Actually, we're doing it every week as we looked at the revenues and everything. So it was an up-to-date revenue projection the last time we put the budget together.
Anybody else have any discussion? Questions? Okay, next up will be the resolution 202404 to accept certain roads from John Wyatt and Charles Wyatt Jr. into the City of Easley Roads Network. My understanding, Mr. Couch can explain some of it, is that this was something that was deeded to the city, but the city never accepted. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So it was deeded. We didn't accept it, similar to the roads that we did last council meeting where we accepted the roads in that one subdivision. This was never accepted, even though it was quitclaimed and recorded at the county. And so we don't know what the condition of the road is exactly. We've had someone go out and look at it and give us an estimate, but the real condition is unknown until we start really digging into it. It's about 30 to 40 years old, maybe a little older. If we accept it into the city, then we'll have to pay to upgrade it to the standards. And the estimate we got, just looking at it, again, it hasn't been really researched. The low estimate is if we're going to proof roll it with a truck, make sure it doesn't deflect. If everything's fine, then we'll have to put some new asphalt on it. It's $61,000 to do that. If it does deflect and deteriorates with the proof roll, then it could be up to $141,000 to do it. So this is it's unbudgeted. It'll have to be it'll be a budget amendment to do that in the next budget year if we want to bring it into the city. But it does give another exit from that Steelwood subdivision to the south side. But there are two there are already two exits on the north side. They're close together, but there are two exits on the north side. And it's a possibility we could talk to the developer and see if he would pay for some of it. There's no reason to think that he would, unless we can offer some kind of incentive, but that's a possibility. We could talk to him.
Is this something that, I mean, I don't know if this is new information, so a question would be, is this possibly a situation where we would need to table this until we get additional information to proceed? Because it sounds as if there are a couple unknowns, including having a conversation with the developer to see what options are available.
But we definitely would need to talk to the developer. We would not want to do a proof roll on a road that's not ours and then deflect it, and then we have to bring it up.
I don't think we want to spend any money, I mean, we're talking about this budget here that we've been dealing with for quite some time. I think moving forward on this particular topic, we need to have as much information as possible before we make a decision.
Financially.
Yes, it is a
How long
financial
is the
decision.
road? I mean, it's not that long.
It's a driveway, it's not a road.
I mean, a hundred and
It's a
some
driveway,
thousand,
and there's
yeah.
two
I think it's
houses.
250 feet. Am I?
That's approximately correct. I think there's an extension that would need to be built to connect to the Stillwood boundary, so about 300 and some odd feet total.
So we would have to pave it all the way to the guy's subdivision,
Yes, sir.
but he's got two entrances and two exits already.
Well, how many homes? There are 128?
159.
Okay, 159 homes
Okay,
in that area. And looking at the plat last time I looked at, the two entrances were at the north side?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but those two entrances, that property does not join, so they can't, that's why they have two.
Okay,
The property on the left is 30 houses, I think, I can't remember. And it does not connect to the other 130 houses.
so there are 130 houses using, if I'm understanding it correctly,
Yeah.
one. So logistically, this road would alleviate 130, however many cars,
right.
going out of one road.
And the road it goes out on is inside our subdivision. It's not going out into a normal county or state road. It's coming into our subdivision and then feed out into Highway 8. And I will say that that is probably the best road in Wyatt Acres, because there's only two houses on that road, so it's gotten very little traffic. It's probably newer than the rest of the roads in the subdivision.
When did the Wyatt brothers quick deed that to the city? Do you know, how long ago?
When
They're not the
the-
developers on the
When
subdivision.
the property
They're
was
not.
annexed into the city, it was included in the annexation 2 years ago.
The new subdivision was annexed.
So the quick deed was included in,
They did, I talked to Charles and John both. John's at an age, he doesn't remember much, but Charles said neither one of them don't know if the road ever got given to the city or not. So that was the reason why they did the quitclaim deed.
So going back to what Tom mentioned though, legally, the documents don't show that the city accepted the roads. And then for it to be a city road, it has to meet certain standards.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're talking about a financial impact on the city, not saying that we're not doing it, but like any other decision that we need to approach, it sounds to me that we would need to get some more information before we can make an informed decision on this. Because for whatever reason, if the documents don't show that the city accepted the road, then we don't have the road. And before we can move forward in looking at this as an option, because I have worked with Ms. Rainey on this, or conferred with her and looked at this project, and I do agree that Franklin is the better suited outlet for that entire development. But before we can get there, I think we need to resolve the matter of the road.
And my understanding, I just want to clarify, is before we can go to the developer, we need to know if we're gonna, like, it's not ours, so we can't really bargain with the developer yet. We could just get their
We could,
opinion on it, and then we bring it in, and then they say, oh, we've changed our mind. I mean, I'm just asking.
Is the attorney not here?
That's where I switched that, so that's looking for.
There's two houses that sits on this little driveway
One
right
is
now.
supposed to be, but he's.
Doesn't want it changed, if that means anything. We do a lot of things that people don't want to do. But those residents, to them, that's just their driveway going in. And, I know Ms. Rainey might like some of that traffic not to go to Pearl Drive, but what's that other one, Franklin, goes up through there?
No,
Well,
Franklin
Franklin's
runs
what we're
into
talking
Pearl.
about.
That other road,
Daniel.
Daniel, right. I saw that just the other day, I forgot, I knew it was the person's name. But, I don't see that there's anything good in it for us, for the city.
Well,
Besides
except for
spending
the
a bunch of money.
alleviation of the congestion for the people that have been complaining for a long time. It's a traffic fix.
And
It's just that looking at that, where Franklin is, it is a more direct route out to Highway 8 as opposed to driving through the subdivision. Because, you know, people are, those new homes are there, and the people need outlets. And the most direct outlet is at Franklin to Pearl, out to Highway 8. As opposed to driving through the neighborhoods where there were kids and pets and people walking.
Right. And I looked at it as if I lived there. And if I lived there, it was going in, it would aggravate me every morning and every evening to do this, to get out and go to the grocery store.
for
I just
clarification,
didn't realize it was gonna be that expensive, so.
and for clarification, Franklin is beside the lot that says 303, right there in the middle of the screen.
yeah,
Okay.
Will they have to lose a building lot
No.
that's extended? What's on the other side of that road, that driveway?
You mean above it?
Yeah, it goes into the subdivision.
Mario, is
This
that
is
where the
dirt.
cul-de-sac is?
We need a laser.
As you're looking at it, see where 189 is?
Yep.
Okay,
189?
so that would be lots would be up above that. So the lots would be to the right of that. That drive, the roadway that comes parallel to Meadow, of Daniel, Daniel, and veers to the left, or veers to the east. There's a curve right there on the road.
yeah.
I'll try to explain it. Down there. Sorry. So right now, the road comes like this, right at it. And right here, it turns and runs this way. And then comes back up and curls back in that way. Little cul-de-sac right here. So that road, if it extended, would match right into where the roadway's coming now.
And give another access on that side to Highway 8.
There'll be another extra highway.
Well, it'd actually be a cost savings to the developer if they were able to tie into Franklin, would it not?
I would,
Well, right now, we made them put it into a little connection between the two little parallel roads. So if they took that road away between the two and built it here, as the negotiation would have to have, and built it here, it may be a cost savings. May not be, maybe a wash.
have they already built that road?
They have not built that road yet.
Okay.
It's in the process. They're grading that now.
But it would not alleviate that cul-de-sac that he mentioned that
Right,
goes to
the
the east.
cul-de-sac right here is still gonna be here, but
Mhm.
there's a road here and a road here. They both run parallel.
It's an easy tie-in.
Yeah.
right now, we also have an easement right here, we had to put an easement right there just in case the fire department ever needed it. Now, it should help alleviate, it's gonna get more traffic on Pearl, of course.
Right.
Will lessen the traffic on Daniel.
Right, but Daniel, the initial, for Daniel was to put everything on that Daniel and make everything come to Highway 8. That's why they did that, to leave
Well-
it on just that, to affect just that one section with existing roads and a lot of new houses going on.
Yeah, and the other problem at Daniel is where you have the intersection, West End School, that east,
Sure.
the townhomes, I mean, everything just dumps right into there, and it would make more sense for it to come off on Pearl, and people could access Highway 8 from that street. It would alleviate,
It would take people down Pearl to take a right or a left. Typically, most people go right. There's a few people go left over there, but most people will go right, so just bring them over here instead of over there.
I think they'll be taking a left going this way in a year,
If
in
most-
a couple of
yeah,
years.
If they either take left, that's where they're gonna come out.
Yeah, yeah.
What they would probably do is come that exit, come down here, or come through the subdivision and come through here.
Yeah, and then one street down, you go back over, you could hit Pope Field right
Right.
here, so.
I'd love to see this somehow connect back to Hopefield.
Right, but that's if I'm not mistaken, I thought that Brushy Creek was a federally protected watershed, is that not right?
Brushy Creek watershed.
Yes, yes.
Is
Is that not,
you're talking about the pond that's down here.
yeah, is that not part of the
It
waterway? right
it
here?
goes to the watershed, but not the whole thing is federal.
Okay,
It's federally
It's
protected by
that's a
wetlands.
floodplain.
okay,
We call it Florida down there on the end.
okay, I thought that's where Brushy Creek ran to,
Brushy Creek watershed is
it's on down, yeah.
way down.
Okay. Where the high school
It's
is
a watershed pond,
where they built the high school at, yeah,
below that.
so.
Mario, show me one more time where that little piece of road is up there.
You need a longer stick.
Right,
That is,
And do they have plans for more houses beyond?
yeah, that whole thing,
They're gonna-
this whole thing would be houses.
That would be houses.
Right.
130,
159 total.
So the whole thing would be developed as a piece, something we call spillway.
And I'm assuming when that was approved, because that road was not in the city, that's why there was no
That's
outlet.
exactly.
No, Tommy kept saying it was a city road, but it wasn't gonna be given to that development.
well, we have a situation that we need to get some answers. And then also, depending, once we get those answers, then we could possibly have a discussion with the developer, so.
Because worst case scenario, I mean, if we take the road in, worst case scenario, it could cost the city as much as $141,000. Best case scenario, we take the road in and the developer says, oh, we can negotiate with them maybe for some more lots and they pay part or all of it. Best case scenario. We take the road in, we take the road in.
Okay, you're talking about if the road is up to the city's standards, and I would bet it would be the same standards as Pearl, Meadow, and Daniel. We're constantly getting heavy equipment coming down Daniel, so are y'all gonna fix that road when they tear it up? We've already had issues with Meadow. They were coming down Meadow and tearing up people's yard. So, my concern is, if you're concerned about this 200-foot strip, what's gonna happen when this construction's over with and Daniel starts crumbling or Pearl starts crumbling?
City redoes streets all the time.
As we can, as we can afford them, we do. It's just a matter of, it makes sense to me, it's just a matter of how we pay for it.
I don't know if did everybody get a email from a Jim or Beth Holcomb?
Yes.
Or was that just me? Okay, I won't reread that then.
They actually live right there.
Yeah, they do, and have lived there for a long time.
Okay. That, I'll just say they're in opposition to it, but I won't reread it since everybody got it. Yeah, I went out and looked at it. I mean, Franklin is just every 3 or 4, well, every 6 or 8 feet, just cracks.
discussion around it, so,
Can we like table this and sort of get a little more
well, we're not
information?
voting here,
Yeah.
but that's up to y'all. I
Okay.
mean, we can, as a body, we can decide to do that.
I
The
mean-
only concern that I think I heard, and maybe I'm wrong, is timing
Right.
for the developer's finish.
I was gonna say, and looks like to me it would be a win-win for the developer too. I mean, am I wrong?
I don't disagree.
It just
but I'm not
depends on what,
developer.
I guess it just depends on the information that we find out. I mean, it sounds as if it would be to me, but depending on the information
Yeah.
that, is delivered to us and what they can negotiate with the developer. So I'm in favor of tabling it just until we can decide, make an informed decision based on the information that is returned to the city.
I have a question for Mario. Mario, we've been discussing this for a year or more. Have you even approached the developer to see what his?
I spoke briefly about it,
Uh-huh.
and they wanted to listen to it more, yes.
Okay.
And I think they would be agreeable to do this.
Okay,
Now, that being said, it's about money, but I think it'd be agreeable to do it.
okay.
Okay.
Any more discussion about that one? Okay,
Oh,
and then.
I'm sorry, so did we come to, I know we can't vote on some, but did we informally come to like a plan of action on what we're doing?
I mean,
Well, and based on what Mario just said, I guess that's something we can talk about and think about.
I'm thinking
Y'all-
just tabling it till we get the information before we move forward. I don't think that I think it would be
What
inappropriate
information
for
would we-
us to make a decision when we don't know how much. We're having a range from 60 to 140,000, and then we don't know if I know Mario has had conversations with the developer, but I don't know how recent that is, and I think there are too many unknowns for us to move forward. That's my personal
Does
opinion.
this takes one vote?
Takes
It's a
one vote to
resolution.
bring it in.
Okay, so it doesn't take 2 months, okay.
Could I make a suggestion that once Mario gets or the city gets the information, because it is a timely matter, that we could have a special meeting for this?
We could consider,
Now,
if that's,
I just have, I mean, it says here, except certain roads, as in plural, not as in singular, as in one road, it says roads.
It's just one road.
Okay,
it's Franklin.
okay. Just wanna make sure, okay.
Yes, sir.
Being that all of this is new to me, and we've got somebody that has a particular personal interest in all of this. And in the event something like this comes up in the future, that would affect me, so I'll know what to look for. Will Mrs. Rainey need to recuse herself from voting on this, or does it make any difference since we?
There's no financial gain for me.
I'm
think
gonna
that's-
defer to
Well, I
the
was
legal
asking the
expert
mayor
in the
about
room.
that.
That's not, I'm new to this too, Tom. Evan?
I would say as long as Ms. Rainey doesn't have any financial interest in it or any other kind of interest, I believe she wouldn't have to recuse herself. I'd have to look at the bylaws again to verify that, and I can get back with you on it just to make sure, but my initial understanding is that,
Well, I
No
would.
conflict of
no
interest.
conflict there.
Yeah, I've looked it up as well to make sure, and it says
I'm
no
sure you
financial gain. You know I was gonna look it up.
I know you, you
Well,
don't
that's a
never
good-
sleep, do you?
That's a good question, because we all, represent
Yeah,
wards and
we
live in
live in
areas.
each one of them, so we don't wanna.
And if something happened in your neighborhood, that's a good question. Okay, we ready to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
The last one before any project updates is council discussion on the written decision for business license revocation for a local business. This is the one that we voted on last month, the first reading. I think we do a second, Evan, is that right, second final reading?
Right.
And then my understanding is if we do finally and formally revoke this person's license, everybody that votes needs to remain after the meeting to sign a document, so don't disappear. Is there any discussion or questions for Evan or Ralph about this?
Has there been have we received any other communications see anything else.
Ralph, have we heard from, didn't she have like a time for appeal or
We have not heard from Ms. Neinstein. Another person did come in to get a business license application for that particular property. So the landlord is leasing it to somebody else.
For a dog grooming business?
Yes.
That makes sense.
any more questions? Do you have any more questions for Ralph? He did.
No, one of our employees is gonna get a license to do it.
I spoke to the lady. Apparently she had another location and she was moving to this location. So,
Not in Easley?
I don't think it was in the city limits. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Ralph.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion on that?
And I don't know if you mentioned this, but Councilman Jones wasn't here for the hearing, so he won't be voting on this particular matter
Okay,
tonight.
There was a, yeah.
so I can leave afterwards.
You can be dismissed after this. And then we have, if there's an option for any project updates, if there's anything that any department heads want to bring.
I'll let Mario go.
I should be brief. I've been receiving phone calls for the past year, year and a half since I've been here, about Pelzer Highway. We just spoke about it.
Oh, wait.
I'd like to somehow provide a resolution and send it to DOT, to the governor, and say, please look at Highway 135 and Highway 8. Look at that corridor from 135 to the second intersection of Pope Fields, which is a little bit past that intersection right there. We've known it's been bad for years. It was bad when they put the high school in. I think it's time that we start being proactive and reaching out to our local governments. We've been letting our constituents do it, our residents do it, but I think it's time for city council to come with a resolution or something. I'm not sure what administrator would recommend, something to go to whoever needs to go to our local legislators, to the governor, to DOT. That's one thing I want you all to think about and how we're gonna work on that.
Mario, I do wanna say that, I don't know if it was, but anyway, Senator Rice told me that there was plans to put a roundabout there, but we were third in line. The first one's Crestview, the other one's Olive, I believe,
At, which one?
at 135 and 8.
Right there,
At this
I
school.
don't know,
So
that's
you
fine.
might wanna check with him first.
When something needs to get done, we know
Yeah.
something needs to get done, and it needs to be pushed up. And so I think it's something that city council comes and says, hey, we're tired of being pushed back. This is an intersection that's bad from 123 all the way, probably past Ingalls.
It's getting a
Once
little
it gets
bit
past
further
Ingalls,
down
it
there.
gets a little bit better, but I think it's something that we need to address as a city council.
While you're there, Mario, what's your opinion of this road, Highway 8, in front of the Lost Mill? I mean, it's in.
Front of the what?
In front of the Lost Mill, the new Lost Mill. That is.
I don't know if
horrible.
they can widen that up.
That thing is beat up, man.
If the road is, that's a
I know.
different situation.
Yeah.
It's on the
Is
list
it?
to be done next
Is it?
year.
That's a state road.
That is resurfacing,
Okay,
right. This would be a road widening,
okay,
which you'll look at, resurfacing is gonna cost X amount of dollars.
right,
This is gonna cost 100X.
yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be quite expensive.
right.
So, but you know what, we, as a citizen,
Mhm.
as a planner,
Yeah.
as an engineer,
Right,
I don't believe we get the respect and due that we deserve as a city. When you look at,
Yep.
I shouldn't be saying this, but when you look at what the money to spend on 183, and the traffic isn't as congested, we have more people riding this area right here than that area right there. I think it's time we get our just desserts.
absolutely. I'm glad you said that.
Well,
Thank you.
Crispin, you had something?
On page 8 of my council report, I gave a couple of updates on capital projects. Of our 15 projects, capital for this fiscal year, we have 2 remaining. That's over at Haggard Park and Brush Creek Greenway. Haygood, I just want to give you a little bit of update of what they have done. The sidewalks have been poured, they are up to 88 standards, they're accessible, as before they were not. Concrete walls have been poured along the creek to stabilize that creek bed and around the playground area to identify that playground area. And the restoration to the back wall behind the shelters is currently ongoing right now. We do expect this project, and Mario's been in more communication since I've been out, so I won't give an estimated timeline, but I do expect the next couple of months that project is complete, if not by the end of this month. And then the Greenway Trail, if you've been out there recently, you can now walk, there is a bridge. You can walk across from J.B. Red Owens to the other side of the creek. I encourage you to come out and look at it. If you'd like to go, Mario or myself, one will take you. So I just want to give you 2 updates on those 2 projects since I've been out, and I do appreciate, my family does, all the thoughts and sentiments from my daughter's surgery.
Haygood's been going on for a while.
Haygood's been going on for a while, but not the construction part, but it took us a long time. We had to go through the Army Corps of Engineers, we had to go through DHEC, we had to do water testing. So the actual construction part is still within the time frame, that 270 days that's in that bid document. But yeah, the ongoing actual issue has been for a while, yes. But that was a long time coming though.
Yeah.
It took us a long time to make sure we had all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted for that
Do
kind of
we
stuff.
have a financial, how much it's gonna cost us for that?
I do have that bid document and I've been tracking it, so far we're actually under the project range, and I can share that with you
Well,
as well.
there's a lot of concrete being put down.
Yeah, so everything, when we went to bid, we itemized every piece of detail that was gonna be put into that project. So we knew the cost estimate for every linear foot, square foot, however they wanted it, when Mario was looking at the bids. But yeah, so we knew exactly going in. We've had a couple of change orders so far, but we're still under the estimate that we asked for council to approve. Yes. And same thing with the Greenway Trail. We're still under estimate for that as well, what we asked for council to approve.
If I may, that project is going a little slower because of the weather.
Yeah. it's been-
And also,
Yeah.
there's a lot of springs in there,
Yep.
and the springs really threw a lot of,
I think he was talking about when the actual pipe collapsed.
right, and there's also a tree trunk.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
the other day. It's
that
huge,
put out-
huge.
that caused, created a lot of problems.
Now, will the wall be on both sides of the creek or just one side?
Both sides.
Because so far, I only see one side.
Yeah, they haven't, they're still stabilizing. I think part of that issue was that large tree trunk that they came in, so they had to take time to actually take that out and actually remove it. So that's took a little bit of time, and then plus with the weather, they've been a little delayed. But it will be on both sides.
Okay.
And there'll be a bridge that'll access shelter 2 to the playground.
Yeah. It looks good.
It does, it looks really good. We've been very
Once
impressed.
it's done, it'll be great, so.
Yes, and then, we have not heard from the county as far as the grant. We applied for almost $47,000 for the grant funding back in January from the county. I have not heard if we've received that. That's all for the dog park over at Haygood. So there'll be a lot of nice repairs to that, as well as the tennis courts should be finished up probably the next month or so. That was also a grant.
Where's pickleball gonna be at?
Existing tennis court. So one tennis court will be removed to add pickleball, and then the other tennis court will be restriped for tennis as well.
Okay.
So, yeah. And the surfacing will match the basketball court.
Okay.
So it'll all look very unified.
Well, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we'll adjourn. See you at the council meeting. Thanks, everybody.
At the what meeting?
Oh.